to match that, firstly, I mean, we're kind of scared of that kind of silence. That doesn't happen too often. So when you're able to just sit inside and there's nothing there, this is the kind of taste, a taste of the fruit that you're kind of getting. You're peeling off the peels and you're getting that taste of the fruit, because really, when you get to that place where there's no thoughts, no distractions, but there's something still there. There's still like an awareness. There's something that's still existing there. Now all of a sudden, the game has kind of changed, because all through our lives we're constantly thinking, constantly feeling, constantly sensing, and we're not kind of getting in tune with that natural flow, right? So the more you can do that, then naturally the more you can do this in your everyday and become meditative, which I talk about all the time. Instead of just sitting here and doing meditation, everything in your life kind of becomes that way. You can watch your breathing, you can watch how you're walking, you can watch how you're writing, watch how you're speaking, and you're kind of watching it from a third person perspective. So, I posted on Facebook and on the posters and everything about the topics that I wanted to cover today. And, all of them were connected in a deepening way, and all of them are quite kind of prevalent in most people here, because I'm getting the same question from a lot of people, and it's something that I kind of questioned for a long time. And the main topic being the concept of finding your purpose. Or what I kind of want to introduce to you, which is living with purpose, or living purposefully. Because the kind of misconception with finding your purpose is the misconception that Western society has about pretty much everything, is that there's an end goal. There's no journey, there's just an end goal, right? So if I find my purpose tomorrow, then everything is solved. I don't need to worry about anything, and all my problems just wash away. I found my purpose and I'm good. I've gone over the hill and I'm just good. But this is the misconception, because quite readily when we set so many of these goals, because really all you're doing is setting a goal, and when you achieve it, that's when you have to set a new one, because that fulfillment is not in the goal itself, it's in that journey or in that process, right? So before I get into the concept of finding your purpose, quote unquote, versus living purposely, is getting to the concept of imagination. I talked about it last dream session when we were doing, setting goals, setting something we wanted to achieve, but then letting go of it. Setting up the plan like we always do. This is going to happen by this date, and by this day I'm going to have this, and I'm going to do this by this, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work that way, and we're getting all upset because we've got so attached to that. But we talked about understanding the idea of faith, kind of giving up that attachment to that goal. But what I really wanted to step into today was the concept of setting goals and how to use your imagination. Because, first of all, our society is really, not so imagination pro, I guess you would call it, right? Your imagination is kind of wishy-washy. Your imagination is not real. Your imagination is not something that can be manifested as a reality. And because of that, every time you're imagining something about your life, you're doubting yourself. You're having fears. You're saying that that's not possible or not true, right? But, when you look at all the great people of our time and all they talk about the visions in which they set for themselves, and that was starting and stemming through your imagination. And I mean, you don't really even need to look at that, because you can look at yourself. Just the mini goals that you set for yourself, you imagine them first, and then you went on and you achieved them, or you went on and you manifested them. So just on that small scale, this is kind of the proving to yourself that you kind of need. We all kind of need that external proving to some sense, until we can get to that place where we no longer need that. We're so comfortable with uncertainty, or comfortable with that thing that may not be manifested yet, but for some reason we understand that the possibility is there. So when it comes to your imagination, really it's thinking outside the box. It's nothing outside of that. You have a certain idea of what your reality is right now, and I used to talk about this in a dream class way back, where I would be like, okay, well, your reality is like this, okay? So if your reality was like this is all you're perceiving as what you can accomplish. So, for instance, if I were to get somebody who had a reality like this to draw the city, they would draw the city, but it would be very vague, not so detailed, because they don't really see the whole picture. Versus somebody who has a reality like this. They've experienced much, they've accomplished much, they've done much, and they have much fulfillment. All of a sudden, they draw the same picture, and it's much more detailed. Much more detailed, because they're perceiving the grander picture and the bigger reality of what's there. So when it comes to your imagination, I mean, it really comes to first forgetting about what everyone else is telling you that is possible. And when you're able to see certain things, questioning why you're seeing them. Because your mind is giving you pictures for some sort of reason. It's not just a fluke. And in that sense, when you imagine yourself at the top of your game, a millionaire, someone who has a beautiful family, whatever it is that you really desire, that imagining, that visualization is the gateway, that's the key, that's the doorway for you to be able to go and manifest that. Because, what we talked about last time is not only you visualizing it, but your ability to actually believe that it's possible or believe that it's already a reality for you. Because it's the feeling in which you're going for it, it's not the actual vision. Because, I know Tiffany's doing a vision board event on the weekend or something, and I remember when I first did my first vision board, this is the reality I want, I'm taking pictures of money, I'm taking pictures of a car, I'm taking pictures of all this, and I'm putting it on my vision board, I'm saying this is what I want, and I'm envisioning them, but really, none of those things is really what you want. Maybe. But it's the feeling that you're looking for. It's that feeling of abundance, it's that feeling of gratitude, it's that feeling of fulfillment that you're looking for. So when you're able to first visualize or feel that sort of feeling, the feeling in which you want, naturally, the visions in which come, that vision for what you want in your life, the vision and the imagination that you're broadening of what you want to create, will kind of be in line with that feeling, not necessarily of the thoughts that you have about, society says I should have this amount of cars and, this so many kids and this job and this title and this body type. That's kind of washed away. Because you're getting down to like the deepening core. And the next thing when it comes to imagination and goal setting, it's really the idea of forget about the end goal. Because when we set that goal for lose 100 pounds, over the next year, when that year date comes, it's not like, the day before we were at 99 and all of a sudden we lost it all in a day. And even as I say this, it obviously seems completely irrational. But for some reason, when we're setting goals, it's the end goal that we want, and that's it. So retweaking our mind into the idea of process so that when you actually get to that goal, it was pretty much like the day before that wasn't much different. And the week before that really wasn't that much different. And then even the month before that, maybe you're seeing a bit of a difference, but you see that gradual progression. Because like everything in nature, everything is gradual. There's nothing like this. That just doesn't happen, right? Everything is gradual. So, firstly, how does this imagination tie to the purpose idea? The idea of finding your purpose, these sorts of things. Well, if you can't